Welcome back to Naptime Sports Talk Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to our latest episode. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to Naptime Sports Talk Podcast. This is going to be the intro to Season 3, the 25-26 Minnesota Vikings football season, as long as a 2026 NFL draft. Yeah, so I'm just going to do an intro episode today, and then this is going to be on my own, and then my new co-host, Dan, Big D, will be with me the rest of the way for the whole football season. So we are excited to bring back the podcast, and we've been taking a break this summer to rejuvenate and just spend time with our families. Big D made a move out of our hometown, and I know he's started a new job and things like that. So we're excited to bring the Season 3 to you. So let's get this started. So on today's episode, just going to do some brief discussion here real quick about some moves that has been taking place, and then I'll get into my 53-man prediction for the Minnesota Vikings roster. So later this past week, Harrison Phillips was traded to the New York Jets, and that was a trade that was a little surprising at the time. Just Phillips' role with the team as a captain, he seems like he's been a big leader on that defense, and just shows how much the Vikings have right now in that interior of the D-line. We'll get into that a little bit later, but also the Vikings potentially freeing up some money there to potentially go out and bring in a wide receiver that we have known for a very, very long time. So we'll see if that player comes back. I'll talk to him, or I'll talk about him briefly coming up here too. So, and then just today, breaking news, Sam Howell is traded to the Philadelphia Eagles. So the Vikings are giving up Howell and a 2026 6th-round draft pick for a 5th-round pick in 2026 and a 7th-round pick in 2027. And then after that news, like minutes after, the Vikings announced the signing of quarterback Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz is going to be coming to Minnesota to be the backup to J.J. McCarthy. And I'm excited for that. You know, going into the season, I was getting a little worried with the quarterback play there from Howell. Max Brosmer has had a tremendous offseason and training camp. However, he's a rookie this year and he's still developing. So I like that KOC gets a quarterback to help grow. And then, along with J.J. McCarthy there. So he gets a little project for both of them. But yeah, going back to my point, but yeah, having Carson Wentz comes in provides some insurance, I would say, if J.J. McCarthy was to get injured or something happen, he can come in and play games when needed. As we know, it's a long NFL season with 17 games. And so we'll see what happens with that. But all right, so we're going to get into the Vikings 53-man roster prediction here. So just right off from the start, go right into quarterbacks. Kind of already said it. J.J. McCarthy, Carson Wentz, Max Brosmer. I do think the Vikings will keep 3. If the Vikes tried to, say, waive Brosmer, I think that he would get picked up from another team. So I think they're going to be safe with that, and he'll be on the 53-man roster. Running backs, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason. And here's a surprise one for me. Some of y'all might not agree, but I've seen this kid play now throughout the preseason, and I've just liked what I've seen so far. Former wide receiver, and he has some good bursts too, and I've just really liked what I've seen. I think that if Aaron Jones gets hurt, and we know how his limitations can be with injuries, I think this guy is going to help jump right in that role, and he's able to play that 3rd down role, catch balls out of the backfield, and that is Xavier Scott. So I really liked what I've seen from Scott. This means that the Vikings would be moving on from Ty Chandler. Do they maybe bring 4 running backs back? I would not be surprised at all if Chandler is a guy that comes back. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's my prediction. I think the Vikes keep 3 running backs, and then Xavier Scott will be the guy that gets that third third spot. For fullback, the Vikes bring back CJ Ham. No doubt about that. Great captain, great team guy, and he is a great special teams player as well. So wide receivers here is going to get a little interesting. So I'm going to give out 7 names, but 6 guys will technically be on the start of the roster at the start, with Jordan Addison being suspended for 3 games. So once Addison came back, this list would definitely change and will drop a guy or 2 potentially. So, but yeah, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, Ty Felton, Lucky Jackson makes the team for me. Miles Price, who's been really, really stout as a returner on kickoff and punt. So I think he's going to make the team as the return guy. He's undrafted rookie, and I just really liked what I've seen from Miles Price this preseason. I think he's earned that job. And then Tim Jones is the last guy. So, and this could change too. I think this is going to change based on who gets cut from other teams and a potential Adam Thielen trade here on the horizon that we've shown interest in getting a Thielen out of Carolina, as they have a pretty good young wide receiver core there in Carolina, which is making Thielen a little more expandable. So we'll see what happens, but those are my players that I think are going to make the Vikings 53. And, and like I said, I think that list is going to change a little bit based on who's cut from other teams, but I'd probably say for sure, obviously Jefferson, Addison when he comes back from suspension, Naylor, Felton. I think those are the 4 guys for sure that will be on the squad. Lucky Jackson, that might change. Miles Price, that might change. And then Tim Jones. Those are guys I can see that potentially get cut in the future too. So moving on to tight ends. So TJ Hawkinson, Josh Oliver, Nick Vannett is my 3rd tight end. I don't think they're going to bring 4 tight ends this year. I think that group is actually a little slim, and I think this could also change, who's going to be tight end 3 based on who's available after cut down day. I do think they'll bring back, or not bring back, but try to get Gavin Bartholomew, we drafted last year out of Pittsburgh, and Ben Yurcek, who's a rookie out of Georgia, on the practice squad. And then they can elevate those guys as needed. So I think those 2 are names to watch for the practice squad. Moving on to offense tackles, we have Christian Darrisaw, Brian O'Neill, Walter Rouse, and then Scully. I think he's going to be the 4th tackle there. Offensive guards, we're going to have Donovan Jackson, Will Fries, Blake Brandel, Joe Huber. I think he's going to make this team as a guard. He's coming out of Wisconsin. I really liked what I've seen from him too. Not perfect play, but he has some tools to work with. Center, Ryan Kelly, Michael Juergens are the 2 centers that I think will be there. Juergens also can slide inside and play offensive guard if needed. So kind of that swing guy between the center and then the offensive guard position. So I have 26 guys making the Vikings roster just on the offensive side of the ball. I'll go moving on to the defense. I'm really excited what I've seen from this defense so far. And, there's been a lot of talent shown in the preseason during training camp. And they're going to have some very, very tough decisions to make here. There's going to be some guys that are going to pick up from other teams, and they'll probably go on there and be starters at these other teams too and make a difference. So, but just looking at the defensive line, Jonathan Allen, Hargrave, Ingram Dawkins, Jalen Redmond, Drake Rodriguez, or Levi Drake Rodriguez. And then this guy, he's been having a tremendous camp off-season, and that's rookie Elijah Williams. So I think they'll keep 6 D linemen between nose tackle and those DN positions. And then outside linebacker, pass rush, we have Grenard, Van Ginkel, Turner, Gabe Murphy, who's been having a tremendous camp, and then Bo Richter, who's also been having a tremendous camp. I think they'll keep 5 guys there. Interior linebackers, I have Cashman, Pace, Wilson, and then King as the 4 interior linebackers. And then cornerbacks, I have Murphy Jr., Rogers, Okuda, Blackman, McGlothern. So I have 5 right now. And I think it's either be McGlothern or Vaughn. And I believe they'll try to get one of those guys on the practice squad if they can. I am a little nervous that if one of them do leave, they're going to get picked up by another team. But we'll see. I really like what I've seen from Zemayev on there. He hasn't had perfect play, but, coming out of Utah, he just has flashed a little bit. And, one thing, though, I noticed this past preseason game, he's missed a couple tackles on the run. So he just kind of needs to tighten that up a little bit and clean that up. But they have a tough decision there, too. And this is another spot, too, cornerback based on who's available, who gets cut, that I think they could potentially bring in someone to come in and help out the DB room there at cornerback position. For safeties, I had them keep, Harrison Smith, Josh Metellus, Theo Jackson, and Jay Ward are my 4 that are going to make this squad. So that's my 53, or not 53, that was my 26, 25 players on defense that I think the Vikings are going to keep. I do think the Vikes will keep one more guy on offense in comparison to defense. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So moving on to specialists, Andrew DePaulo will be the long snapper, Will Reichard the kicker, and then I think we're going to bring back Ryan Wright as a punter. And one thing I just noticed is, Ryan Wright and Oscar Chapman, I believe his name is, has been the guy, fighting him for that punter position. And I just noticed a difference in kicking for Reichard when Ryan Wright is holding the ball. He feels like he's a better holder than Chapman has been. There's been a few misses that Chapman has held the ball on, and this past preseason game, he kind of fumbled around and didn't really get the ball on the ground good, and then Reichard kind of pushed the ball left, I believe it was, in a long field goal. And Wright, he's just more steady, he has more experience, so I just don't think that KOC and Kwesi and those guys aren't going to want to have a game be decided because the ball was held incorrectly on a kick. So I think Ryan Wright, even though he has his limitations, he doesn't always have the best punts, but there's one thing that he does pretty well, and that is holding the football. So we'll see. We'll see what they see and what they want to do too. But that is my 53-man roster prediction. And then I just wanted to get into my little record prediction for the Vikings. I'm not going to go through every single game, but I'm going to give you my record prediction, and then I'm going to give you my predictions for each division winner, and then who I think will be in the playoffs, as well as MVP, Rookie of the Year, and Offense Rookie of the Year and Defense Rookie of the Year. So moving on to that, Big D will give his next podcast here. But yeah, so I have the Vikes right now. I think the Vikes will make the playoffs, and they're going to go 11-6 is my record prediction. So I don't have them winning the division. I have the Lions repeating in the North. Then I have the NFC South. I have the Bucks. NFC East, I have the Eagles. NFC West, I have San Fran back on top. Then for playoff teams, I have the Vikes, Commanders, and Falcons as my 3 wildcard spots. Then moving into the AFC, I have the Ravens winning the North. The AFC South, I have the Houston Texans. The AFC West, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. The AFC East, I have the Buffalo Bills. Then my 3 wildcard playoff teams are the Bengals, Steelers, and Chargers. So we'll see what happens there. Then I have for my MVP, Josh Allen, offensive rookie of the year on defense, I have Travis Hunter, and then offense rookie of the year on offense, I have Ashton Genty. So we'll see what happens with the football season. It's Among Us here. College football just kicked off yesterday. Great game between Kansas State and Iowa State. Iowa State ended up beating them there over in Dublin. But I'm super excited for next weekend here as more football games will be coming. The Gophers play Thursday versus Buffalo. And then we have a full slate on Saturday. Ohio State and Texas to kick it off too on Saturday. That's going to be a really, really fun game. There's a lot of great games this weekend. So look for those games. And I just said this episode is going to be very, very brief and short today. We'll get a little longer as the season goes. But yeah, after you listen, let me know your record prediction. Let me know who was your surprises on my 53. Which one do you disagree with? other than that, we'll catch you next time, and you all enjoy the rest of your day. All right, thank you. SKOL Vikes. Thank you for listening to our episode. Be sure to give us a follow on Instagram and X at Naptime Sports Talk Podcast for content related to the pod. Thank you for the support.